Hey everybody, this is Teryn from Girls Inc. in Las Vegas, and I am back with you today to do another machine tutorial. Today I am going to be talking about and highlighting the Spektra Direckt 2 made by FK Irons. If that name doesn't ring a bell, then probably the name Gaston does. Gaston is the owner of FK Irons, and he is a brilliant machine maker. He's pretty well known in our industry for the Zion and the Bellar, two great machines. Now, what you might not know is he's also got this great little machine called the Spectra Direckt 2. And I came across this machine maybe about 10 months ago. I didn't even know it existed, but it caught my eye. Someone was using it at a class or a convention I was attending, and it really caught my eye. So I came home and ordered one and tattooed with it for 2 or 3 months, and decided that I needed this in my collection. I wanted to offer it on my store to the PMU industry, and I wanted to talk and educate about it because it's just a great little machine, and I think a lot of you might really like it. It might be the perfect little machine for you. So let's go ahead and let's just take a closer look at the Bellar. And first let's talk about the specs of the Bellar. As you can see, it is really good looking. Right here is the seafoam green. We have both the seafoam green and the hot pink on the store. And usually I always go for the pink. If you know me, you know that about myself. But I was really attracted to this green. So we have both on the store. It retails for $499.95, so 500 bucks. It weighs 2.8 ounces. And I know a lot of people out there like a really lightweight machine with very little vibration. And this is it. Very, very light at 2.88 ounces and a very low vibration. It's also really quiet. It's got a little bit of noise, which I think is important. You've heard me say before, when our machines have a little bit of noise, that allows the machine to talk to us. And we learn and understand our machine by the different sounds it makes in the skin. So I do think a little bit of noise is important and actually benefits the artist. But with that said, it's fairly quiet. It is exceptionally powerful and consistent and precise. And those three things are really, really important to me as an artist. It comes with interchangeable strokes, 3 of them. And if you see right here, this is where you can actually change your stroke setting, and it's quite easy to do. When you order it, it will come with the 3.4 stroke setting already in the machine, but you can change it out to a 2.8 or a 4.0. I've just been using it with the 3.4, and I love it. It's fantastic. And those are the 2 stroke settings that I like best. Anywhere between a 2.5 and a 3.5. Those stroke settings, in my opinion, are the best stroke settings for tattooing the type of procedures we do as cosmetic tattoo artists. So again, it comes with three different stroke settings, 2.8, 3.4, 4.0 included with the machine. And the super cool thing, well, there's lots of super cool things about this machine, but one in particular is that it runs both as a cartridge setup and a traditional needle on the bar setup very easily. No adjustments to make, nothing to change out, nothing like that. You can quickly set it up to run cartridge or quickly set it up to run needle on the bar. And for me, that was really important because I use both, you guys. I love to do all my eyeliners with needle on the bar. There's just something about the needle on the bar. I feel I do my best work when it comes to eyeliners with a traditional needle on the bar. I feel I have more control. I feel I have more precision. I'm more exact. I just feel that way. And that might be in my quirky little artist head because, you know, us artists, we get these quirky little things in our mind that make sense to us. And I feel like that with eyeliners. Now, when it comes to eyebrows, lip fills, areolas, anything else, I am loving the Cartridge setup. I'm getting quite used to it, and I'm really, really, really digging it. It's easy. But again, for all my eyeliner work, every time I am setting up with a needle on the bar. So for me, being able to go back and forth really easily is a big, big bonus. And there's lots of artists out there today that are using both. So really, really convenient. If all you run is Cartridge, perfect, great. You'll just run Cartridge setups on it. If all you use is needle on the bar, great, perfect. You'll just use it with needle on the bar. No big deal. So let's just set up the machine, and let's show you how that's done. We'll go ahead and set up the cartridge first. This is a cartridge grip by it's a Phantom cartridge grip by Bishop, and I use both the Phantom by Bishop and the Wrath by Tat Soul. This is actually the Wrath by Tat Soul, and I love them both. They're very, very high quality and just feel good in the hand. And those are the two brands of grips that I really like. You can buy cheaper grips, but you know what you pay for is what you get. You can really feel the difference between a high quality grip and a cheap grip. So the first thing we do is when you're running a cartridge machine, cartridge needle setup, if it is not a direct insert, meaning, you know, like the Zion or the Bellar, where you just directly insert the needle into the machine, then you need a disposable grip. And this is a rotary that is not a direct insert, so you definitely need the disposable cartridge grip. When you purchase the Phantom or the Tat Soul Envies, you get the plunger bar with the grip. You get a plunger bar with every grip, and I really like that. Some brands out there, you don't get the plunger. So you have to order the grips, and then you have to order the plunger separately. So that's just too much fuss for me. I just want everything all at once. And so that's another reason I like the Phantoms and I like the Tat Souls. So if you notice on the machine, right above the stroke disc we were talking about is the little needle clip. And this machine does not require a rubber needle. It's the first machine I've come across that doesn't require a rubber needle. So I think that's pretty cool. The other thing that I want to point out, and I'm going to try to make this a little bit closer. If you look in here, there is also this little rubber O-ring. I'm hoping you can see it. Let me get up a little bit closer. Let me let the camera adjust, but you can see it right there. And it's a little black rubber O-ring. And that little rubber O-ring fits over the needle or the plunger. So you'll end up slipping both the plunger or the needle on the bar underneath that O-ring. Okay, and we're going to talk about that a little bit further. So you slip that underneath the O-ring, just like so, and then you take your little loop at the end of the plunger and just clip it down onto the needle post, just so. This is your chamber to tighten or open your little chamber for putting in your grip. So we'll go ahead and do that. Make sure it's open. Let's make sure it's open. Put in your grip and then tighten it up so it doesn't fall out. And then you just take your cartridge needle, you insert and turn. Now you always want to make sure that your wash hole is facing up. If it's like that, that's wrong. It's upside down. If it's like that, that's to the side. It needs to be facing up, okay? So then all we need to do, let's plug it in. Let's plug in the machine and let's turn it on. And you can hear the machine. Now, when I turn this on, my needle, it's a little bit louder than it normally is, and that's because my needle is too retracted. So we want to bring the needle out a little bit. And the way to do that is this grip. To get your needle to come out more, you're going to wiggle this and pull it towards you, okay? Just like so. You can keep the machine running, and you heard that quiet down real nicely. And keep turning until your needle is floating out exactly where you like it. And that's about where I like my needle. I like my needle to be right about at about 3 millimeters is perfect for me. Now I don't know if you can see that or not. I'm gonna bring it up close and see if you can see it floating. Maybe not, I'm not sure. Let me see, put my hand there. But anyway, my needle's out. It's out at the perfect depth for me. To make sure that's good and tight. And then your machine, your little Spectra 2, is ready to rock and roll. And you hold it real nice like this. If you're doing pointillism or whip shading, of course you got it at a 90 degree. When you're doing circular shading and other things, more 45 to a 65 degree angle. But it's very, you hardly feel it in your hand, you guys. It's very, very light. It's a low vibration. You can hear how quiet it is. I just fell in love with this machine right away. And once I did a few procedures with it, I really, really, really loved it. So that is the cartridge. The cartridge setup with the Spektra Direkt 2. You can see that, real nice. It's just a beautiful little machine. Okay, so let's take that off. So you just loosen this, loosen that up. And of course, you would first undo your needle, put that in your sharps container. You would remove your grip, that gets thrown away. And then you just unsnap your plunger bar and remove it. And remember, it's tucked underneath that O-ring, so you just pull it out, throw away. That's it. And then you're ready for another procedure. Okay, so let's set it up with the needle on the bar. Let's get our needle on the bar over here. Okay. So, needle on the bar, Tatsole needle, Tatsole Wrath grip. And I've been a big Tatsole fan for like 8 years. Just everything they make, pretty much, I love. It's all high quality. They put a lot of thought, care, and concern into their products, and I'm just a massive Tatsole fan. So when you set up the needle on the bar, there's an extra little thing that you need to do. I already showed you this little O-ring in here, and it's just right in there. And like I said, it's just this little, O-ring, this little black rubber O-ring. And the needle fits right through it. Now, you don't really need to do anything when you're using a cartridge setup. But if you're going to use the needle on the bar, then the other little mechanism that comes into play is this thing right here. There's a little knob on the back end. And what that knob does is it raises and lowers that O-ring. So when it's raised, it is not resting on the needle. When it's lowered, it then rests on the needle. So when you're inserting and loading your machine, when you're setting it up, you want to have that raised a little bit so you can get your needle through. Once you put your needle in, then you're going to turn this away from you and lower that O-ring to rest on the needle. And what that does is it keeps the needle from fluttering. It steadies out your needle so it doesn't do this. Instead, it just runs nice and linear and nice and precise without any flutter or vibration. So let's go ahead and set up needle on the bar. So brand new needle, and I like to put it in this way, slip it underneath the O-ring, bring it through, and then put your little needle loop right here and snap that down onto the needle clip. Okay, now what I want you to notice is, let me make sure you can see it. Let me see, where is it? Right here. When you put on a needle on the bar, you want to make sure there's an opening on a needle on the bar. There's a little loop down here that clicks on the needle post, as you just saw, and there's an opening. That opening should always be to the right. If you can't remember that, then it should form the number 6, okay? And that means you have the needle right side up. And that's really important when we're working, to make sure that needle is right side up. So again, the opening is to the right, or the little loop should form the number 6 when you look at it, okay? So we have our needle in. Now let's put in our grip, and we'll just thread that through, and be careful not to bump your needle tips. You know, when you're using grips like Taxol grips, you really don't have to worry too much about bumping your needle tips when you're threading your needle through, because they're so high quality, you guys. You can get grips a whole lot cheaper, as I mentioned earlier, but what I found with them is inside these tips is all just a bunch of jagged plastic and loose plastic and little bits and pieces hanging down. So when you're threading your needle through, you end up bumping your needle tips on all that plastic inside, and it's horrible. And the last thing we want to do is bump a bunch of plastic, get plastic on our needle tip, and implant that into client's skin, somebody's skin. That could cause a complication or an infection, you know, and we always want to avoid, you know, anything like that. So that's the benefit of spending just a little bit more money and getting high quality grips. I believe these are about $1.40 each. And I think these are right about the same, $1.40, $1.50 each. So they're really not that expensive. So once you get your needle in, don't tighten that up too much yet, because we want to turn the machine on and adjust our needle float. So we turn the machine on, and actually I pretty much nailed it. That's pretty much where I like my needle. Again, if we want to bring the needle in, if it's sticking out too far, we want to bring the needle in, then we wiggle this away from us. By wiggling this away from us, the needle will come in. If we need the needle to stick out a little bit more, then you wiggle this towards you, and that will make the needle stick out a little bit more. So that's how you adjust needle flow, away from you and towards you, and you'll get the perfect needle float that way. Tighten this up, and then remember that little knob under there. Now you just have to adjust that. Now I want you to listen. Do you hear that? So the machine got louder all of a sudden, right? And you probably can't see this on camera, but when I look at this needle, that needle has got a vibration and a flutter to it, and the machine sounds louder. Now I'm going to turn this button away from me just a little bit, and you can hear what happened. All of a sudden, the machine got much more quiet, and when I look at this needle now, there's no flutter. Now it's just nice and steady, linear and precise. So that's what that knob is for when you're using a traditional needle on the bar. You just slowly lower it so it gently rests on the needle to steady out that needle. If you're familiar with the Bishop V6, that machine actually has a little clamp that you clamp the needle into. if you're familiar with the Tatsol Valor, that actually has a little wheel called the tension wheel, and you roll that tension wheel down, and that's what steadies the needle. With coil machines, it's a rubber band that steadies the needle. So all rotaries, just about all rotaries, coils, if they're not direct insert and they require a grip, then there's going to be some sort of mechanism to lower down, touch the needle to steady it up. Okay, so there you go. And again, I put this in my hand, and you can just see how perfect it is. Well, it is for me. Of course, finding a machine that's perfect for you, it can be daunting, and we all have our own particular wants and needs when it comes to machine. So where this is a perfect little machine for me and feels wonderful in my hand, it will for many of you. And for others, not so much. You'll prefer maybe a heavier machine, or maybe you prefer a machine that does take a direct insert. Like I said, we all are really particular when it comes to machines. But again, for me, this is just a fantastic little machine. I took this machine to Miami. Gaston invited me to Miami at the IPCS show on the 4th of July, and I did an eyeliner workshop, and this is what I used in my class on stage. And it was fantastic. It was great. And that eyeliner came out really, really good. It healed really good. So thank you, Vivian, for being my model. But the Spectra 2, Spektra Direckt 2, great little machine. So let's take it apart now. So all you do is loosen that up, remove the grip, that would go into the trash, unclamp the needle from the post. Now when you're removing the needle, do not pull it towards you, okay? Do not thread it back through the machine, because of course that's contaminated. And we don't want to run the contaminated tip of the needle through the machine. Okay, that would be gross. So you're just going to pull it away from you. You're just going to take it and pull it away from you. And then that goes in your sharps container. And that's it. And then your machine's ready for another procedure. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put the cartridge grip back in. Let's put that, let's put our plunger first. No, this is a plunger. And again, you get these with your phantoms and your wraths. Clamp that down. Put your grip on. Tighten it up. Insert your needle. Make sure it's right side up. Turn it on. You can hear it's a little loud, and that's because the needle is too retracted. So to get more needle to show, to get less needle to show, just do that. Get that a little too tight. There we go. That is, let me see, right there. That's perfect. So that's how I like my needle. So again, you just pull out or pull towards you, and that adjusts how much your needle sticks out. Your little button, your little knob here, turn that away from you, just so it rests on the needle, on the plunger, just a little bit. You'll hear the machine quiet down and steadies out your needle, and it's perfect. Okay? Great little machine. So let's go back here. Hey! So again, the Spektra Direckt 2 comes in seafoam green and pink. Retails for $499.95. Weighs 2.88 ounces. Comes with 3 stroke settings for you to change out, whatever your preference is. I like the 3.4 that it came with, but it also comes with a 2.5. So if you prefer that, you just change it out quite easily. Comes with a 4.0. That's a little bit too long of a stroke setting for my liking. Most of us for cosmetic tattooing are using anywhere between a 2.5 and a 3.5 stroke setting. What else? Powerful, consistent, precise. I've used it in countless procedures now. All kinds of procedures too. I've used it for areolas. I've done several eyeliners, several eyebrows with it, several lips, and I just love it. I just think it's a great little machine, and I wanted to share it with you. I wanted others to know about it because this could be a perfect little machine for you as well. I think that was it. I can't think of anything else to tell you about the Spektra Direckt 2. I will go ahead and post the link to purchase on our store right in the comments. As always, if you have any questions at all, please go ahead and post your questions in the comments. I'm pretty good about answering. Or you can always email us at info@girlsinc.com. You can call the studio as well. If you prefer talking to somebody, we're here Monday through Saturday, 10 to 6, answering our phones. We are always here for you. And when you purchase, let me just say this, you do get a 1-year manufacturer's warranty with us. So if anything went wrong in that first year, then it would be taken care of for you, either fixed or replaced. With us, when you purchase with Girls Inc., you get unsurpassed support. We do Skyping. You can send me a video if you're having an issue. You can call us at any time, email us, anything like that at all. We're very, very responsive, and we're always here to help. When you choose to buy from us, we take that very seriously, and we want you happy. We want you super happy that you chose us. You could choose all kinds of people. So when you choose us, it's quite a compliment, and we're very appreciative, and so we're there with you every step of the way. All right, you guys, so that's it. That is the Spektra Direckt 2. Let me know if you have any questions, okay? All right, thank you for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you later.